So Oscar De La Hoya has sold Ring Magazine to Turki Al-Sheikh for $10 million. Now, just to give you some context here, De La Hoya bought the publication back in 2007. So we're talking 17 years ago. And he paid $7 million back then. So to only be selling it for $10 million now is an indication of how poorly Ring Magazine has been doing since. And not just Ring Magazine, but many other boxing publications have been struggling because the digital age is a whole new ball game. And in fact, Ring Magazine 2 years ago stopped printing their actual magazines and went completely online, which again shows you how difficult they were finding things. Anyway, here's a quote from Oscar De La Hoya. He said, "I did have some conversations with His Excellency. He obviously made the offer that we could not refuse. It was an asset that I held onto for many years. We were steadily holding onto it, keeping it alive. It's in great hands." He's obviously talking about with Turki Al-Sheikh. Turki Al-Sheikh put out this statement on his Instagram page. He said, "Earlier this week, I finalized the deal to acquire 100% of the Ring magazine. And I want to make a few things clear. The print version of the magazine will return immediately after a 2-year hiatus, and it will be available in the US and UK markets. The magazine will be fully independent with brilliant writers and focusing on every aspect in the sport of boxing. We will restore the legacy of the Ring rankings to its old mechanism with a fully independent panel that lives up to the Ring magazine's golden era. We will continue to raise the prestige of the Ring titles, and plans are already underway to have a yearly extravagant awards ceremony to celebrate the very best in the boxing industry. In the coming weeks, we intend to debut a brand new state-of-the-art website and mobile app. We are already in development of a line of Ring Magazine merchandise. The Ring Magazine will be a fully independent company without any involvement from Riyadh season. In the end, let's get the Bible of boxing to the heights that it has never seen in the past." All right, those are the words of Turki Al-Sheikh. And obviously he wanted to emphasize the independence or apparent independence of Ring Magazine moving forwards. We will see whether he actually sticks to that. The most interesting thing to myself, and I think most other boxing fans, will be the Ring Magazine belt, because it's already a thing, obviously, and it's been a thing for many, many, many decades. But will Turki Al-Sheikh look to make this Ring Magazine belt the only belt in boxing that matters? Some might say it's already the only belt in boxing that matters, but not really. There were some people who I had to correct in the past who were under the misguided impression that the Ring Magazine belt was the lineal belt. No, 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 no. You can be Ring Magazine champion and not be lineal champion. For example, Tyson Fury was not Ring Magazine champion when he fought Usyk, yet he was still, according to him, I mean, I don't accept the idea that he was ever lineal to begin with, to be honest, because the lineage was broken when Lennox Lewis retired as champion, and because there wasn't an undisputed champion after Lewis retired, up until, of course, Usyk, then how could you definitively say that a new lineage had started with anyone? So that was always my argument against it. But anyway, let's just, for argument's sake, say Tyson Fury was lineal. Well, he was stripped of the Ring Magazine title prior to fighting Alexander Usyk. And there are many other examples in other weight classes over the past few years of guys who were lineal, but they were not Ring Magazine champions. Okay, so let's just get that straight. I had to correct people on that in the past. And the reason I say the Ring Magazine is not the only belt that matters in boxing is because the Ring Magazine is just a magazine that has a belt and a bunch of rankings. It doesn't sanction any fights. It can't impose mandatories on anyone. And the mandatory system is vitally important. If it's implemented properly and strictly, then it prevents champions from sitting back, milking the title, cherry picking. Because as boxing fans, don't we want to know who the best fighters in the world are? Well, if we're going to know, then we have to see belt holders continuously thrown in there against tough opposition. I don't believe in this idea that, oh, once you've earned your way to become champion, you should be allowed to just take it easy. What a load of rubbish. You get certain privileges when you're champion. You normally get the lion's share of the money, unless you're fighting in a unification or something. Champions typically fight less often than contenders and make far more. And the bottom line is, when you are a world champion, you're basically staking your claim as the best fighter in the division. How could you possibly prove prove that you are that unless you are continuously challenged on it. You're supposed to be unifying, and after that, you're supposed to be fighting the best contenders available. Back to back to back to back to back to back to back. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Usyk's doing it, and he's been doing it for years, since his cruiserweight days. Inoue's doing it. That's the standard. That's what we should all expect from all champions. Or else how dare you call yourself a champion? Anyway, the mandatory system, when implemented properly, helps to keep world champions honest. The Ring magazine doesn't have a mandatory system. The Ring belt, they don't have a mandatory system with it. Well, not until now at least. Because if Turki Al-Sheikh tries to replace the 4 major sanctioning bodies with the Ring magazine belt, then presumably there will be mandatories. If that's his vision, well, it's very ambitious. It's been attempted before and nobody has been successful so far. But the clever thing about this is that if Turki Al-Sheikh tried to create his own sanctioning body from scratch, a new one, it will be harder to get the public to accept. But if he takes one that already exists, particularly the Ring magazine, because of the fact that the Ring magazine is not a sanctioning body, but they have a belt, they've been free largely from the accusations of corruption and favoritism that the 4 major sanctioning bodies have had thrown at them over the years, those type of accusations. The Ring magazine rankings are generally seen as more credible. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm saying they're generally seen by boxing fans as more credible than, let's say, the WBC or WBA or IBF, etc. So to take the magazine belt and then create a Ring sanctioning body with that same classic historic belt that we're all very familiar with, you can see how that would be an easier sell to boxing fans as a new organization. You understand? So let's see if Turki Al-Sheikh does that. It's an interesting power move. Now, for me personally, when it comes to rankings, I really don't pay much attention to, let's say, BoxRec rankings or the Ring magazine rankings, because even if the BoxRec rankings are often terrible because it's all computerized and there's not that much human input, so you get some very strange rankings going on. It's been like that for years and years and years with BoxRec, so don't pay any attention to BoxRec ranking. But the Ring magazine rankings, I don't pay much attention to them either, even if they're more impartial than the sanctioning body rankings. There's no ramifications for the fighters, right? Ring magazine rankings are just rankings for the sake of rankings. They don't actually do anything. So I only tend to look at the sanctioning body rankings because then I can see where fighters are in relation to champions, who they need to fight to move up and get closer to a title shot, so on and so forth. Like it or not, the sanctioning body rankings actually mean something, even if they are dodgy. They do mean something. As far as Ring magazine returning to print, I haven't bought a boxing magazine since 2006, 2007, something like that. Probably around the time when De La Hoya acquired Ring magazine. Not for that reason, but yeah, that's probably the last time I ever bought a boxing publication, because you get all the information you need online now for free. This ain't the 90s, this ain't the 80s. Back then, I used to buy every boxing publication going religiously, and I'd get boxing information on CFAX and Teletext. Today, everything's online. Why would you need to buy a physical publication? I mean, other than nostalgia, like certain boxing gym owners might buy copies of them, have them around the gym to add to the whole character of the gym and, give it a sense of history and all that. But the average boxing fan, why would you buy a physical boxing publication anymore? I don't know. Maybe as a collector's item. I guess that could be a reason. And in fact, I wish I'd held on to my boxing magazines, because I had a massive collection of KO magazines and Ring magazines, which would probably be worth a lot of money now. But my parents were having a clear out, must have been best part of a decade ago, and they live back home, they don't live in the same country as me. They were having a big clear out. They needed extra space, and so they were kind of putting pressure on me about which of my things they can throw out or keep or whatever the case may be, because they needed to get this space free, and what are we going to do with this massive box of all these boxing magazines you've got? And impulsively at the time, and just to get them off my case, I was like, you know what, just throw them away. And this was probably around, 2010. Boy, do I regret that. I was in that kind of mind frame where it's like, why hold on to the past? Well, sometimes the past is worth a lot of money. And some of them, telling you, some of them magazines were vintage, man. They'd probably be worth quite a bit now. Especially the Mike Tyson specials when he came out of prison. I had the Mike Tyson special for Ring magazine, Mike Tyson special for KO magazine, a bunch of others. Boxing Illustrated, Sports Illustrated. It'd probably be worth all sorts of money now. I don't even want to check on eBay because it might make me cry. Anyway, collector's items aside, will you be buying a physical copy of Ring magazine when it goes back into print? Let me know in the comments. And what do you think of Turki Al-Sheikh acquiring it? You think this is a good thing, a bad thing? Do you believe him when he says it will remain fully independent and unbiased? Or do you suspect that the opposite will actually happen? Let me know. Don't forget to like this video, share it of course, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.